Hello and welcome to SEGA News Bits. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
Welcome to the next level.
And before we get into this episode, you guys want to check out our Patreon. We're pimping that in this episode too. We're giving away a Jet Set Radio hoodie this month if you donate $1. So if you want to help out this channel and make more videos, do that. And let's get right into this episode. So how did we get the top 10 SEGA Genesis games? Well, basically last year we did a top 100 SEGA games where people on our blog voted their favorite SEGA franchises and specific games. So we did a top 100. So then we got the top 10 out of the top 100 that were SEGA Genesis games. And that were included in the SEGA Genesis Classics collection that's coming out later this year. So we're going to go through what fans thought were the best franchises included, or at least single games included in this collection. Number 10 was Phantasy Star 2, came out in 1989, an early SEGA Genesis game. Do you think this deserves to be on the top 10?
Absolutely. It's a classic SEGA Genesis RPG, and I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised it's not further up the list.
I like it. I think that 4 obviously did everything better than this one. A lot of people say that 4 is a lot easier, but I actually have a nostalgia little, place in my heart for Phantasy Star 2. I think the character designs are cool. I think they did a lot of stuff right. It was just really, really hard.
For sure.
Number 9 is Ristar. What do you think about this? This is a Sonic Team game.
I think it made the list mainly because of the Sonic Team connection. I think a lot of people like to check out stuff like Knights, Ristar, Samade Amigo, and it's kind of like Sonic's cousins, and so I think that really helped. It's a fun game in and of itself, but not my favorite Genesis title. I
like the graphics in this game. I thought they did a really good job with the it always reminded me what happens if Sonic finally slows down and they have the ability to make a higher graphic platformer.
Oh, for sure.
8th came in Golden Axe 1989, and this is actually one of my favorite games on the SEGA Genesis. The first one, I don't know why, just because my cousin used to have it, so if I would go over, I would stare at the front cover and I'd be like, oh, the artwork's so amazing. And then I would play the game and I really like this game. What about you?
I agree. It's definitely a classic. I have not played the arcade version in a while, so I don't know how it compares. But if I remember correctly, it's a pretty good port, and it's like the sword and sorcery version of Streets of Rage. So you can't play Golden Axe without playing Streets of Rage right after, in my opinion.
Number 7, Shining Force 2, and this one's actually a pretty big title, I would say, because I feel like maybe this game didn't sell that well, but I see it all the time, right? For the SEGA Genesis, every time somebody talks about the SEGA Genesis, Shining Force 2 is usually one of the games that's brought up, so I'm not surprised it's number 7. What about you?
Not surprised in the least. It's an excellent game, and I'm really glad it's on this collection as well.
Number 6 is Gunstar Heroes. Came out the same year as Shining Force 2, which is 1993, which is a huge year for the SEGA Genesis. A lot of the games on here actually came out in 1993. This is one of those games that I feel like everybody should play if you like shoot-'em-up games. If you like Contra, Gunstar Heroes is one of the games that you need to try.
Absolutely. There's so many surprises in this game. You'll be playing it now and you'll be like, that's so impressive, either graphically or just the way the game's laid out and the way you progress through it. There's just so much going on that it actually even outshines games of that era. It's really impressive.
Really cool designs of bosses and stuff too. That
oh my god,
very innovative.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Phantasy Star 4. This one came out in 1993 as well. And I think this is the most modern Phantasy Star game. I mean, in the old RPG series, because this one's easy. I would say it's easy to get into, and you can get far without really being good at RPGs. And the story's really well done. The characters are well done. The graphics are nice. So yeah, this deserves number 5 in my opinion.
Yeah, great game. If you've played Phantasy Star Online but never played a Phantasy Star game on the Genesis or Master System, this is the one definitely to check out.
Number 4 was Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master. This also came out in 1993, another 93 game. This is, a lot of people consider this the best Shinobi game. It's a different Shinobi game. It's more action oriented. It's way over the top, but it's like they cranked everything up to 11 in this game. It's a good game, but I still prefer the old Shinobi formula, you know? But this is a really good game if you want an action Shinobi game.
And if you like surfing ninjas.
Yes, get this. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog, 1991. The first one, a lot of people don't like this game, which I'm surprised that it actually
I don't get it.
ranked this high. What do you think?
Well, I mean, elephant in the room, Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles are not on this collection. And if they were, they would place higher. However, because this list is games that are on the upcoming, May 29th this comes out, collection, this one's here. But still, it's a classic. I mean, I think more people have played and owned Sonic 1 than just about any other Genesis title.
And I know people are going to say, why isn't there Sonic 3? I don't know. I think we all have our own, like, rumors of what it is, and people always say, that's not true, but all we know is it's not in this collection, and that sucks because we would replace 3 with this one for sure.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Streets of Rage 2, 1991. So this one placed higher than the first game. I don't know, there's a lot of people like the same thing with Sonic the Hedgehog 1, right? There's a lot of people that like to fight. What's better, Streets of Rage 1 or Streets of Rage 2? Very rarely you'll see a 3 fighter, right? Like a guy that backs up Streets of Rage 3.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, Streets of Rage 2, it's just, the music is so good, and I think it has a better balance, better character selection, and I never liked that screen clearing move that the first one had. It just...
Okay.
Yeah.
The cop.
Yeah.
And this one also has more variety. Like the levels looked a lot better. It feels like they perfected what they were trying to do with the first one. They added more moves. And they have Skate too, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And the number 1 game, and I guess if you're a Sonic fan, this isn't surprising because Sonic fans reign supreme online. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 1992. This is obvious, a lot of nostalgia. I mean, this game is probably the best-selling SEGA Genesis game of all time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not very surprising that it's number 1. What do you think about these top 10 lists? Or is there any game in the collection that should have made this list?
I was gonna say Echo, but it's actually not on this collection.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I like some of the more obscure titles, but they're not going to make this list. And I also think some of the games on the collection, maybe their arcade versions are a little better, but I mean, all in all, I think this is a very solid list.
Yeah, I think it's a solid list. I think if you're going to buy the collection, playing any of these games right here, you would have a really good time, and you'll really understand why the SEGA Genesis / Mega Drive was so popular at the time period. And what do you guys think about this top 10 list? Let us know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, don't be scared of subscribing. We're not gonna bite. Arr.